Hey everybody, what is up? It's Devin LaVore and
Michelle LaVore
coming at ya
on a cloudy, rainy day.
It is. Our lights just dim because it's about 5:30 right now, so we got to make it through this quickly.
Yes.
We have no hope. There's no hope. So, have you guys ever been, I know there's people, most of the people I'm going to talk to, you might be one of those rare, weird people who have never been through this, but where you're at home and you're doing your thing and all that, and then boom, the lights go out. And it's like, what's going on? And you know, sometimes you just sit there and you wait, and you're waiting. You're like, oh man, they're not coming back on. What's going on? And then an hour will go by, and you're like, all right, I'm calling the electric company. An hour, forget that, maybe like 20 minutes, and you call an electric company. What's going on? You've already stepped outside to see, like, oh man, there's other people that's got their lights out too. This is not good. Let's call the electric company, right? And you might not get through to anybody first, and if you do, it's probably going to be a recording. But if you get through to a human, they're just basically like, well, they're out there about, and there's been some outages, and they're doing the best they can, etc., etc., etc. But what's the one question? What's the one question you want to know, Sweetie Pea?
When are the lights coming back on?
When are the lights coming back on? Because right now, in this dark place, come on, I'm talking to somebody out there. In this dark place of my life right now, I mean, my refrigerator, the food, I got to be concerned about my food. I got a lot of things I'm concerned about, but in the dark, my life is really inconvenient right now. It's really inconvenient. I can't live the life that I normally would be living because I'm in this place. Okay? And so I need the lights to come back on so I can go back to normal life. But until then, it's just... I remember being in a place one time where it was a winter power outage, and man, those things can last for days.
Yeah.
And we had to bring in like butane heat and all that. So it was crazy, and we were just like sitting there playing, I think it was Yahtzee or something, because there was literally nothing to do.
Yeah. So
much of life is tied into electricity, right? But then it's like there comes that moment where, because it's like really frustrating, because there's literally nothing you can do.
You can't cook nothing.
Nope.
Well,
you can't even microwave anything.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
It's just like you're stuck in this place, and it's just you're waiting for something outside of your control to turn the lights back on. But then there comes this moment. And for everyone who's been through this, you know what it's like. It is a sudden moment where, vroom, the lights come back on, and the hum of the refrigerator, and the AC kicks back in, and unless it's in the winter, and then the heat kicks back in. But you know what I'm saying? Stuff, and it's like, and then something in you turns back on as well. Well, this was going on last night as me and Michelle were talking about this, and I felt like the Lord said that. He's like, I'm just getting ready to flip the switch. He's like, I'm just going to come in and just turn it on. And I just knew that was a word but part of me was just like, oh man, this is like, Lord, that's like the word you told me about. You're getting ready to turn the power back on. That's awesome. But the thing about that whole thing that I really felt like the Lord was getting me to focus on was the sudden aspect of it. It's like, yes, you're in the dark as far as, now what does it mean to be in the dark metaphorically? That means you don't know. You don't have knowledge. It's like, what's going on about this situation? I don't know. I'm in the dark about the whole thing too. It means you don't know what's going on. So a lot of us are in the dark when it comes to, well, all of us, honestly. If you're waiting on a promise from God, you are in the dark when it comes to when it's going to happen. You don't know. The electric company can't even tell you when the lights are going to come back on. And they're the ones working on it. You know? It's different with God because he can tell you when, he just chooses not to because he's smart. And I say that with all seriousness. He's smart. Because if God was to tell you, okay, this is when, as spiritually mature as we like to believe we are, as spiritually mature as we actually are, it doesn't matter what level of maturity you're at, unless you are Jesus Christ himself, you're going to focus on that time. You're going to. It's going to happen. I mean, it's going to be eating away at you and gnawing away at you like, oh, I don't know. I think it's a great, profound wisdom from God for us to not know the when of things. And that is really what I wanted to impart today. I mean, the first thing I should say, that's like I got a lot of things, but that's the first thing I wanted to share, and I wanted to make sure that got said first, because it is a wisdom from God that you don't know when the promise is going to come to pass. And let me tell you what not knowing when does. It makes you focus on the Lord. It makes you focus on Him. You have two choices. You can focus on Him, or you can focus on not knowing when it's going to happen and be mad and upset and depressed, bummed out, etc., etc., etc. All these things of the flesh and the darkness. You know, you got two choices. You're not gonna sit, like I said in my other video, you're not gonna just sit back and go, I don't want to do any of this. No, you're either gonna be pulled down or you're gonna rise up. That's it. Those are the only two choices we have. That's biblically the only two choices we have. There's a battle between the flesh and the spirit. Whichever one you give into, well, that's the one that's ruling your life. You know? And it's like Peter says we all go through. It's like, don't think that it's some strange thing that you're going through this thing. Your brothers all over the world are going through the same thing. Why? Because it's the same planet, it's the same spiritual darkness, and it's the same objective of that spiritual darkness. God's heart's still the same. He's still trying to do what He's going to do. It's really simple. It's almost like a cake recipe. You can't really spice it up too much. You know, it's like Cake Wars. They can do what they're going to do, but after watching it enough, you know what ganache is, you know what mascarpone is, you know what all these things are, and you can only do so much with them.
Yeah.
You know, you can decorate the outside, you know, say I decorated, but but the bottom line is the ingredients that make it a cake. That's what's most important, you know. And God knows the ingredients. He's like, listen, you're either going to be pulled down or you're going to be lifted up. And we've got to see this not knowing when the breakthrough is going to happen, not knowing when, as a wisdom from God. He's actually protecting us. He's actually being a good father, and He's blessing us. And He's like, okay, if you're going to be mad at me and kick against the goads and shake your fist at me and from time to time, whatever, okay, that's fine. You know, I'm still your dad, and I'm just going to, all right, I got to pick you up again and carry you. Okay. Wow, that was like a double sneeze. See, God's speaking double. A double release. A double release.
I think that's
over spiritualizing.
Yeah,
okay.
A bit.
Oh, that's too funny. And I'm here to tell you another encouragement. I don't care how down you get, you know, because Michelle, be honest, she's been going through a little downtime these last 24 hours.
Well, it's really been since like halfway through the week, I think.
It's been since we've been here in Nashville. Let's just put it that way.
No,
it's just been on again, off again.
Yeah,
God's had to pick you up a lot, right?
And then I drop down.
Yeah.
And then I go up.
But I am here to encourage you. I feel the Holy Spirit is here to encourage everyone, including yourself, that He doesn't mind picking you up. He really doesn't mind. Oh, I just feel the heart of God on that one. I mean, I just know. I just know that's the Lord saying, yes, Devin. Yes. That is so me. You cannot be more bullseye. I don't mind. You know, a lot of times I think we see ourselves as these 30-year-old adults, but our hearts might still be like, we need to get picked up. We need to get picked up like the 5-year-old that needs to get picked up. And, well, you're 5. You don't need to be picked up. I pick up my 5-year-old all the time. You know, because he's light enough so I can do that. But anyway, but it's like God's like, I don't care. I mean, it's like, I don't mind. I know that if I pick you up and bring you close to me, you're going to hear my heartbeat. You're going to feel my presence. You're going to know my love. I mean, I pick up Isaiah right now, and he's like, you know what I mean? He's really hard to control, but he can't get out of my hand.
Yeah.
Unless I want him to. And eventually, he's like, he rests. He stops fighting and he rests, and he's like, oh, this is actually a good place, you know? And so I just want to encourage you guys with that. For those of you who maybe are struggling and you go through the struggle periodically, and you feel like maybe you're not good at it and you maybe beat yourself up about it or whatever, that God He doesn't mind picking you up. because he knows it's like, okay, you're ready to get down again? Oh, you ready? Oh, okay, here, let's put you down and just start walking again. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
He doesn't care because he has, if you got to read Isaiah 42:16, it says, these things I have determined to do for them. And for them, who's them? The lame, the blind, the you know what I mean? People who can't do for themselves. He's like, yeah, I want to pick them because in them will I show my glory. In them, in their weakness, will I be made perfect. You know, it's like, there's so many examples I can use, but the bottom line is, in your weakness is great. Why do you think Paul said, motivated, inspired by the Holy Spirit, I would much rather boast in my weaknesses? Why did he say that? Because he was like, God can be shown much greater in my weaknesses than he can in my strength and my ability to do something. You know, that's part one right there. Maybe she'll start talking in part two, but she's like, I'm going to be a part of the video. I'm going to be. I'm like, thank you. That's 1 foot on the ground, guys. He's about ready to set you down. So I woke up this morning and, but oh yeah, let me just reiterate that last word. It's like God's just he's getting ready to do that. He's getting ready to flip the switch. He's getting ready to turn the lights on, and just suddenly your life's going to be different. It will happen. It will happen. That's why you got to declare it over yourself. You got to use those words of your mouth to build your reality. It's not witchcraft where you're like, oh, I'm just going to build the reality the way I want it. No, you're hearing from the heart of God. Oh, God, that's what you desire? That's your will that you're decreeing from heaven? Okay, well, then let it be done here on earth. Yeah. That's what you're doing. It's not selfish. Don't think it's selfish. If God's put the desire in your heart and it's been tested and proven and tried and all that, it's just like, all right, let's do that. See, and then that's where you get caught up in the ups and downs, because you're like, well, when is that going to happen? When is that going to happen?
And I think too that, I mean, the other night we had just this huge prayer night. And
oh yeah, it was awesome.
It was awesome.
It was
and honestly,
amazing.
it was the next day.
What is this, Saturday? That was Thursday night.
Thursday night. And
yeah,
so
was
yesterday
amazing.
was just a tough day for me.
Typical.
And
I mean, we did some declarations.
Yeah.
I mean, we were doing some major stuff. The next day, we get hit with the exact opposite stuff.
Pretty much. And then last night was really hard. I know just like when I just was extremely exhausted. But just being really tired. Isaiah's sleep schedule was really off yesterday.
He was up till 2:30.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh,
I was like, I'm ready to go to sleep.
I'm getting frustrated.
I was like, at 11, I'm like, I'm ready to go to sleep. And that's when he woke up.
And I mean, you were really ready to go to sleep,
yeah, I was
too.
like, I am so tired. But then...
So you had to stay up another 3.5 hours.
3.5 hours.
So
and
there
it was
was
just
that.
like, oh my gosh. And for me personally, when it comes to like lack of sleep, that's, we all do our best when we're, sleep deprived. But, yeah, so that was definitely a huge factor. Yeah. And on top of a day that I was just kind of very melancholy and just so much, it's like there's certain things that the enemy knows very well what can hit my heart, and pretty much I think almost every button was touched yesterday in particular, and it was just like, man, I'm so just tired of that, and just like wanting, wishing I had the win and that sort of thing. But ultimately it's like, all right, okay, God, I'm here. And
it was tough.
It is, and it still is
tough when especially when there's other extenuating circumstances that are like making it even more tough than it needs to be. But it's like God even uses that to grow us. Yeah. It's like that's what I missed out of my last video about the video I did where you're either going to be pulled down or you're going to rise up. Even if you get pulled down and I'm pulled down, God's going to use that even to strengthen you. You know? And it's just
I guess that's I know Lana Vosser came out with a word recently. I don't know when, just recently. It said something about like you'll be 10 times stronger
Oh, that was like just today.
I didn't read the whole thing.
That was
but
just
basically
today. You read some of it?
I read like.
I didn't read any of it yet. We have to read it together later.
But something about
you
just
be dipping
like,
in the prophetic words like cookies in a cookie jar. Be like, girl, get your hands out there. We got to read it together now. Get back. I'm going to put them on the shelf. I'm putting that prophetic word way up here on the shelf. The back of the refrigerator. Don't touch it.
I'm going to be like Poe, and I'm just going to go get it. Be like, how'd you get up there?
Don't tell Monkey.
I don't know. But, yeah, it was just talking about, just like when the enemy just keeps coming and attacking people and you feel like you get up only to be just punched back down.
Yeah.
And but that you'll rise up.
Well, he stands back and he waits for a more opportune moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he comes and he sees if it will work. And it's like, God's like, that thing will work 117 times. The 118th time, you'll be like, psh, you'll grab that hand. You'll be like, no more, devil. Mm-hmm. 119th time, you'll grab the hand and you'll clock him one time.
So I got a few more times to go, I guess.
But he doesn't mind. God doesn't mind. You know why? Because you already belong to him. Come on now. There's a song that says, the enemy can't take what I have. I belong to you.
Yeah.
The enemy can't change who I am. I belong to you. The enemy can't change that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The enemy can't change the fact that you belong to God. If you're in Christ, I don't care how many times you get hit and attacked, especially when you're in a position where you're trying to really move forward in the spirit, and you will not be deterred. You will not be delayed. You will not be hindered in your pursuit of who God is in that Philippians chapter 3 way. You're just it's not gonna happen. Well, then he can't do anything. He can just throw darts. He can just throw shade. He can just throw stuff at you, but it's not gonna stop you. It might knock you down for a little bit, but if you get back up, it makes the enemy it's like anger level 10 for him, because he's like, you're getting up again, like that dude from Inside Out, it's like whoosh, the fire just comes out of his head. He's like, no, it's like, oh, all that work for nothing. Yeah, that's right, all that work for nothing, because you can't take away the fact that we belong to God. You can't take away the fact that we're in Christ.
Yeah.
You can't take away you didn't come to Christ and then instantly you're Jesus. So it's going to take us some time. It's going to take some process. That's why these words are necessary, to encourage you, to give you what you need, to feed on, to give you the right perspective, or at least help in some way, just to be like, okay, another link in the chain of your development, another brick, another layer of bricks, another little bit of mortar, some more bricks. It doesn't matter. God's building something in you. God's building something in you. God's building something in me. And he is determined to do these things. Isaiah 42:16. And when the building is complete, you get to these seasons where God's building, but then you go through these seasons where it's like, okay, it's time to light up the Christmas tree. Okay, it's time to light up what I've built. And we are in that season right now where God's getting ready to boop, flip it. And then the light's going to come on, and it's just going to, suddenly we're going to go into the new thing that God has for us. The new life God has for us. That door is going to open, and then it's going to come all the way down, and we get to walk out of the ark into a new life. So keep that in mind as you go through the stuff you go through. There was some other stuff I wanted to share, but some really cool stuff about what happened this morning. But we're going to save that for another video because our battery's dying.
Oh, yes,
you see that red flashing symbol? So, but I really feel like we got out what we needed to get out anyway, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So be encouraged, guys. God's going to flip the switch for us. He's going to change things, and it will be a suddenly, just like when the lights go out, there will be a sudden like, oh, the lights are on, yay! You know what I mean? That's what's going to happen, and he doesn't mind picking you up. He doesn't mind you coming to him crying. What would it be like? Oh, I hope we can get this in. What would it be like if our kids cried and they went off in the corner and tried to deal with it themselves? As parents, how would we deal with that? We'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like God doesn't care. He's like, come to me. I don't care what's going to motivate you to come to me. If you're going to come to me, I'm super happy about it. So anything, any last words there, babe?
No, I don't think so. again, just thank you so much for everybody who has continued to support us. It's been so
I got
awesome.
most of the thank yous, but thank you again.
And yeah, we just really,
you guys
really
are amazing.
Appreciate it. And
God is amazing through you. However you want to say it, that it sounds just like gushingly thankful.
Yes. And yeah, so I guess until next time.
Until next time.
We will see you later.
Then we'll get to the rest of the stuff that happened today. There's amazing stuff happened today, but I think we gave you enough. We don't want a 77-minute video. Yep, I said 77. Anyway, bye.
All right, bye.